Hi guys, I'm Dan Hoff, CEO of HoneyStick, and I am beyond excited to bring you guys today our latest product, which is our dual action BeeBox Pro vaporizer. So now what this little bad boy does for you guys who are vaping both nicotine pods and also doing the CBD or cannabis 510 cartridges, and right now are carrying 2 pens. And when I'm talking about nicotine pods, I mean units that look like this right here. This is what you'd be vaping on. And also cartridges, which are your standard 510 cartridges that you buy at your dispensaries, CBD places online, or your local smoke shops, or you're filling yourselves. Now, what I had is a lot of my friends who are into, let's call it dual action vaping, which is nicotine and CBD and or cannabis. They're carrying in their pockets a pen for their nicotine, which usually has a proprietary charger on it. And they're also carrying, you know, if they're my friends, obviously they're carrying a HoneyStick. They're carrying their other unit to vape the cartridges. So you guys are going to be ecstatic to find out that this little unit combines both properties and does them both exceptionally well. It's digital, and we're going to get into all the features and cover how it takes away the flaws of these style units and really improves upon them, and how it really does a good job of perfectly vaping a 510 cartridge. So let's get into talking a little bit about the unit now that you guys see where I'm going here. Here's one of those pods. So what this thing does is, let's get a little close up. For pods, these are really one of the most common pods on the market. And I've actually assembled a list of 20 to 30 of the companies that manufacture into these specific pods. Now what these are is they're little 13.5 millimeter pods in width, and they have a little dual metal prong bottom connector. And these essentially run off of an assortment of batteries, similar to in the nicotine markets, the way that 510 thread batteries are for in the vape and the cannabis market, that they're very highly compatible. And companies are actually pre-filling these with CBD, liquid nicotine, salt nicotines, and flavors. You know, I've been in the vaping market for a long time, but when I now for the last 5 years with HoneyStick and CBD, those are really the markets that I follow on a micro level. And just looking in so I can give you guys options to see if your pods that you're buying are compatible with our unit. I mean, there's just such an assortment of flavors and different types of offerings in CBD and nicotine and salt nicotine and even cannabis that fill into this standard style pod. So what our unit does is it allows you, if you have this pod, to vape it, and you just simply plug it in right there. And it also allows you to vape a 510 thread cartridge and lets you conceal it and carry it in one nice little package here. So let's get into the unit, the BeeBox Pro. Now, as you can see the body of the unit, you can have any color you want as long as it's black. And that's the one color that we offer here, is a beautiful matte black finish. I don't even think you really need any other color. If I had a car collection, I wouldn't mind if they were all this color, because it is nice. It is a powder coated. It's rugged. You're going to feel the quality of this aircraft aluminum build. It's a solid feel. It's not like a lot of these little dinky kind of units and batteries. Now, since it is a big, bulky kind of, not bulky because it's pretty small. You know, it's about the size of an elf, a little bit fatter. But let's use the word brawny instead, because it has power and it's got options. So because there's a larger battery, this thing does have a 600 milliamp hour capacity power plant, which is in many cases twice the power of standard vape or these pod battery power plants, which are usually between 200 and 350 on the higher end. So it's got the power plant. This is also digitally adjustable. I hope that you can zoom in and see that you have a screen here. It's also dual action in the sense that it doesn't only do nicotine pods and 510 cartridges, but it's also dual action in the sense that it keeps the pod nicotine end auto draw functionality, which is what is most common with these liquid nicotine style pods. And it keeps the 510 cartridge push button, which is the most common right now for 510 thread cartridges and usually works the best. So it maintains the two different types of things that it does, true to its most common form. Now, let's run through some of the basic features, functionalities, and how-to so you guys can really get familiar with this awesome unit. So the push button is going to control your unit. You also have two smaller buttons because this is digitally adjustable. Now, most of these pod units don't allow you to adjust for intensity. This unit does. So if you want to get a bigger or a lighter hit, you want it to burn a little bit hotter, you want a bigger cloud, or you want to tone it down and make your vaping temperature cooler, you have the power with this unit to adjust the power in this auto draw unit, as well as adjusting the power of your 510 thread cartridge. So here's the fire button. In order to turn the unit on, you click the button 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You click it really fast, you'll see it turn on. Now, if we can make sure you see over here, you have a battery indication. So this is going to give you your battery life. One of the main complaints that my friends have with pods units that the people that vape nicotine products is that the batteries are always dying because they have a small capacity, and 90% of them have no indicator on there when the battery is going to die. It's like the rapid blink of death. As soon as that thing starts blinking, it cuts off, you're not vaping. And a lot of them you have to carry around a proprietary charger in order to get the battery recharged. Conveniently, this thing uses a standard micro USB cord. So you can use your BlackBerry, your Amazon, your Android chargers in the event that you lose the charging cable that comes with our unit. Try to stay away from using Apple chargers and wall adapters. So you have your battery life indicator. Also, below the battery life indicator, you actually have a puff counter that will count the puffs when you're using your pod unit or when you're using your cartridge unit. Now, up here we have the deployment button, which does a switchblade action for the 510 cartridge. It folds out. And right below the power button, you have your plus and your minus. So the plus is going to be the button that is furthest away from the actual fire button of the unit, closest to the pod. And the minus button is opposite that. And you can use this to adjust your temperature up and down. Now this unit has 2 modes. It has watt mode and voltage mode. So whichever way you prefer to adjust your power, you have that here. And you can switch between the 2 modes. So in terms of voltage, it goes up to a maximum of 4.2 volts, which most people know when they're vaping 510 cartridges, what voltage they use it on based on the adjustability of batteries. Watts is more of a liquid nicotine adjustment level. In this unit, you can go up to a maximum of 15 watts. I'll show you how you toggle here between the 2 modes. So it's actually really pretty simple. Right now, when I turn the unit on, it's in watt mode. And to go over to voltage mode, what I do is I just push and hold the plus sign and the power button at the same time for 2 seconds. 1, 2. And it switched over to voltage mode, as you can see. And now I can adjust the voltage. And to adjust back, I do the same thing. 1, 2. And we are back on watt mode. I can adjust my wattage up. I can adjust it down. I also have in here, when I'm in the CBD mode, I have a preheat function, which when I open up the cartridge, I push this button 3 times consecutively, and it starts preheat mode. 1, 2, 3. And there's a little bitty timer, I don't know if you can see it, that starts. It goes up to about 7 seconds. You can push the fire button to exit out of that. and that is how you would activate your preheat mode. To flip open the CBD cartridge, you have the eject button right here. It's a really high quality, very strong spring. You keep it closed when you're not using it. When you want to use it, you open it up, it flips open, the electrical connections make contact with the bottom of the unit, so then it tells the unit that you are now in CBD mode. You cannot simultaneously vape in this unit. The nicotine pod and the CBD cartridge, but you can have them in the unit at the same time. However, you can only vape one or the other, because the unit, when it's closed, it tells it that it's in pod mode, which is auto draw. And when you have it flipped open, it tells it it's in CBD mode, so you can vape the cartridge, which the fire button is right here. It's the push button action. For the auto draw, as long as the unit is unlocked so that it is on, you can start drawing on it right away. It's auto draw. That's the way it activates, whether it's on for the inhale. Just make sure that your battery is charged up. You can still adjust the power exactly as I said that you can by going up and down to dial in on your intensity. When using this unit, we recommend that you start off at the lowest power settings, start testing it, and really adjust your way to your way up through the power band to see, really find your sweet spot or where your comfort level is in terms of the intensity of your vaping. Now, there's also a locking feature on here that if you want to leave the unit on and carry it, because it goes into a standby mode where the screen goes blank. But so you don't accidentally fire the cartridge or vape, there is a locking mode where you set your wattage and your intensity level, if we could zoom in, to where you're going to push and hold the plus and the minus sign together, which is, you see it says locked. And the same thing, you're going to push and hold the plus and minus sign for 2 seconds to unlock. Here, let's do it again. See, it's locked. 1, 2, and it is unlocked. See, locked, unlocked. So then when you have your unit, you also have a puff counter, which indicates how many inhales you've taken or how many CBD rips you've taken. And it goes up. As you can see, it's a very, very small number. You might not be able to see it on camera, but it's basically right underneath the power, the voltage or wattage. Now, people say, how do you reset that? So first of all, you would lock the unit. So you have it locked. And then what you do is you push the plus sign 3 times within a 2-second time interval. So really pretty rapidly. So you go 1, 2, 3, and yep, we're reset to 0. As you see right there at the bottom, I've been pushing this button a lot of times. Here, let me see. Yep, there you can see it right there. So that is how you reset the unit. And then when you're done vaping and you want to turn it off, you just click the power button 5 times. Now, recharging the unit is actually very simple. You simply flip it over, you plug in the charging cable, and you put on a charger. Generally, because it's a 600 mAh battery, you're going to be between a 1 and a 2 hour charging period, especially if you plug it into a wall. It's going to depend on what kind of a wall adapter you use. Now, let's go over what you get when you purchase your BeeBox Pro package. So you're going to get this nice little box. It's going to come in this acrylic box. Each unit is going to be individually wrapped right here. You simply remove this. Behind the flap here, you have a USB charging cable that you're going to use for charging. You're going to have your unit wrapped up nicely over here. Then if you remove the foam, you're going to have some promotional materials on some of our latest products. And you're also going to have your instructions in the event that you weren't watching this video, or you lose them, or you want to refer back to any of the functions or features that we've discussed here today. So we went over all the different features and how to toggle through the unit. Now, before leaving, what I do want to do is, a lot of you guys might be asking out there, is my pod, my nicotine pod that I purchased, compatible with the unit? And so I did some research and I've put together a list, and we're going to try to, yes, I could not memorize all of these names, and as I start reading them off, you will know why. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to have our team place these into the description text. So in case you guys don't hear or didn't hear your name, you can always refer back to it to make sure your pod is compatible here. So here we go, talking about the 13.5 dual plug millimeter pods. We have J pods, Eon Smoke pods, Magic Mist pods, Zip Labs, JUUL pods, which is JUUL Labs, Zalt with a Z, VQ pods, Loon pods, Pod Plug, VIV or Viv, Holy Smokes pods, 3X pods, Airbender, Atom pods, Fuma pods, Cyclone pods, Hemp pods, Hempzilla pods, Escape pods, C100 pods, C like the ocean sea, Jago pods, E-Liquid Universe, Calm pods, Shangri-La pods. Wow, that's a tongue twister right there. It's like sangria, but it's like Shangri-La. Shangri-La pods. Cannapods. Cool pods, and that's spelled with a cool with 2 U's, not O's. And Earth CBD pods. And Souk pods? It's S-A-U-C pods? I've never heard of that. Maybe that's an abbreviation for something, since those are all capital letters. But anyways, if you didn't catch it, or I read something wrong because some of these names I'm not familiar with, we'll have these in the bottom description here. So if you are looking for the ultimate dual action 2-in-1 vaporizer concealer that does both product functions better than the original units, you can vape on them, you can adjust your intensity, you can see your battery level, you can have your 510 thread cartridge nicely concealed like a modern concealer, and you can do all these vapes and get a much more pleasurable experience, have longer battery life than the standard ones on the market, and you want to make your life easy if you're a dual zone vapor. Definitely check out the BeeBox Pro, check out www.vapehoneystick.com for this and several other cool items. Use my special promo code HONEY420 to get 20% off this and your order for watching our YouTube. If you like this content, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and if you have comments or input or your pod works with our units, do share it in the comments below. You'll catch me in there interacting with you guys. Follow us on Instagram on Vape HoneyStick and Official Vape HoneyStick. And make sure if you love your honey sticks, you guys are throwing them up there, you're tagging us in there. We'll have lots of cool promos for you. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned. And when you're dual action vaping, make sure that you're doing it responsibly. Signing off, I'm Dan.